Next article from the Daily Mail: 21 undocumented immigrants and 2 minors found inside of a train car in Texas. The border agents said the discovery took place on Friday when the Hebronville station was contacted by the railroad company about the group of migrants who were in the train. CBP and the U.S. Border Patrol agents near Bruny, Texas, rescued the undocumented immigrants and 2 juveniles in a cargo train. CBP was tipped off by the railroad company early Friday when the inspection of the grain hopper was planned, or before an inspection of the grain hopper was planned. The migrants are citizens of Mexico, Cuba, Honduras, Ecuador, Guatemala. All of the individuals were taken into custody. Most people don't know, but 56% of illegal immigrants actually come from Mexico. This is why we're trying to build a wall. It's not to keep the Latinos out. It's to keep the Mexicans out. The reason for that is that we have these immigration laws to prevent our neighbors from illegally immigrating into our territory and annexing our territory. Currently, as it stands, there's about 5.6 million illegal immigrants from Mexico in the United States. I live in Oregon, population 4 million. So it's almost 1.5 times the size of my state. That's a standing army full of people. If we ever go into war with Mexico, those people would be a threat to our safety because they might side with Mexico. I don't think so. I think they're siding with Americans. Many of them would, though. That would be a large army. But the left, they want to say that the Republicans are being racist for wanting to build a wall. But the reality of the situation is that illegal immigration is a very large problem, not just in the United States, but around the world. It's also a problem in India. It's also a problem in China. It's a problem that the Muslims love this problem, and that's because they have such a very, very high birth rate that they just export people. That's how they're trying to take over the world with Islam, is they can't get us to convert to their savage religion that worships a pedophile prophet who had a 6 to 9-year-old child bride named Aisha. Spelled A-I-S-H-A. You can go to Wikipedia, Wiki A-I-S-H-A. You can see at the bottom, it says some traditional hadith sources say that Aisha was betrothed to Muhammad at the age of 6 or 7. Other sources say she was 9 when she married the pedophile. This was common back then. So they say, oh no, it's just common. I don't know what world these people live in, but in the world where I live in, a pedophile is a pedophile. Muhammad definitely was a pedophile. He was like 45 years old with a child bride, and it was just normal. Here in this next batshit crazy story from Crazyland, from the New York Post, it says Trump Ilhan Omar accuses MSNBC's Joy Reid on air of Islamophobia. In a rare instance of mutual outrage, President Trump and Rep. Ilhan Omar, the one who was married to her brother, claims during Tuesday night's episode of her show that about the way that Muslims act, Reid took over the 7 p.m. hour of the network's primetime lineup in July, facing backlash over ... And it's because they want to shame you into not being able to criticize their brutal, savage religion. They don't want you to say Muhammad was a pedophile that had a 6 to 9-year-old child bride, because they would be worshiping a pedophile. They can't have you say that. That's why they have to shut down your speech. So what they don't understand in their authoritarian leftist groupthink is that the entire point of freedom of religion is not to prevent me from exercising my freedom of speech about how brutal and savage your false prophet and pedophile-inspired religion is that there's the government shall not make laws abridging your right to practice your savage, barbaric religion founded by a pedophile. There's a difference in between me not being able to allowed to criticize your savage, barbaric religion invented by a pedophile, and freedom of religion and freedom of speech, because obviously this would conflict with the other freedoms that we have in the Constitution that the Sharia law people want to take away from us. And this is the fundamental problem, is that Islam is fundamentally incompatible with freedom and democracy. This woman, Ilhan Omar, is a pretty shitty politician. She's always been a pain in the ass, just a all-around pariah that ends up getting all these votes because people don't even look into it. They're like, oh, I don't want to be racist, so we'll vote for Ilhan Omar. And they just don't realize that this woman is fucking insane. Ilhan Omar is batshit fucking crazy, man. This woman should not be a politician. She absolutely should not be representing us in the Congress. I mean, she's had so many scandals with the marrying her brother, with the whatever the other scandals that she's in. It's like corrupt shit, dude. Like Ilhan Omar is what's she been in? But this is the thing. They're like, you can't criticize her because she's Muslim. Like, excuse me? How about you're not allowed to criticize me because I'm white? Muslims are a third of the world. White people are 20% of the world. So we're the minority compared to the Muslims. But no, you cannot. Because this is their strategy to take over. They want to play nice to you, to your face. They want to say, you can't discriminate against me because that's Islamophobia. That makes you a far-right neo-Nazi. But then in reality, they talk hella shit about you. They don't want you in their life. They don't want your opinions to be heard. They want to shut your speech down because they don't like it because it goes against the false pedophile prophet Muhammad. Daily Wire's legit. It says new details involving far-left Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat from MN, which is that Minnesota? Marital status emerges Friday. The British publication reported that Omar is paying her ex-husband to stay quiet about the alleged affair. Daily Mail reported Ilhan Omar's husband, Ahmad Harris, discovered the truth about her torrid affair with her chief fundraiser, Tim Minette, when they went to her Washington, D.C. apartment last spring, and the lovers were lounging around in pajamas. Multiple sources told the Daily Mail that Hersey left angry and humiliated after learning about the affair. Quote, he suspected she was cheating, kept telling her he was paranoid, and, quote, a source told the Daily Mail. Quote, he told her he wanted to move to downtown to D.C. to be with her, but she insisted he stay in Minneapolis with the children. Eventually, she surprised her down there, and her worst fears were confirmed. Sources told the Daily Mail that Omar allegedly agreed to a financial settlement with Hersey that would pay him tens of thousands of dollars per year, up to $250,000 total, but only if he did not speak publicly about the marriage breakdown. Daily Mail reported that sources in the Somalia community in Omar's district said that Omar had embarrassed them. They've lost faith in her. Sources say the embarrassment that Omar had caused the Somali community comes at from the alleged affair. Her decision to hold the events at a distillery and her embrace of LGBTQI 2CB plus BBB rights. Quote, it's almost as if she deliberately is trying to turn her Somali supporters against her, and quote, source said, told the Daily Mail. Quote, she is a figurehead for most of us, famous Somalis in America. She's embarrassed us. She's the face of the Somali community as she has. And, well, just the thing about it is the majority of America is white. I know this is like a shock to people, but like in a democratic country, when you're in Congress and you're representing people, you're supposed to like represent the majority of people. You're not supposed to be representing the side with Sharia law. This is the fundamental problem, is their system is incompatible with our system. And then you end up with all this corruption, and then their people don't even like them. They're like, I would rather just have the white dude because he doesn't have all these problems. Not saying that we should. We need diversity of thought. But the idea that I can't criticize Ilhan Omar because she's a Muslim is just quite frankly fruitcake. It is quite fruitcake. But the reason why they don't want you to criticize Muslims on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook is because they want to sell this stuff in Muslim countries. It's all a profit-making scheme to defraud you out of your First Amendment, your constitutional rights, so that they can comply the Facebook, Twitter, all these other social media companies to sell them in other countries. This is the goal. This is what you find when you pop out the other side of the intellectual dark web, is you find a bunch of really, really, really insanely corrupt Democrats and Xi Jinping. They're all working together. Xi Jinping's funding them. And then George Soros pops in from time to time. And this is just the Democrats' America, where you don't have freedom of speech. You're not every single time people come talk to me, almost the first thing that they say is, what's up with the Muslims, man? It's like this shit is just going nuts, man. Like the Syria, the Sharia law. And they're like, I don't even, because it's the first thing they're like, okay, I don't know too much about the dark web, but this is the one thing that I would agree with the dark web. You're like, what's up with the Muslims? But you can't say that because they want to take the video and sell it in Saudi Arabia too. So you're not allowed to say that. You just have to put up with the insane amount of corruption that's coming out of Ilhan Omar. And it's because she doesn't represent our values. And if you want to represent our values, if you want to represent us, you need to represent our values. If you don't represent us, you shouldn't be in government. This is the fundamental problem with the Democrats' extremely whack, extremely corrupt pandering to minority groups, where they don't give a flying fuck whether or not we're working in the best interest of the majority of people, because that would be like helping the privileged white males that they're trying to take their white privilege. No, they have to work for this demographic of people. They have to appease the Muslims and the blacks and the Latinos, and in order to get the white feminists to get vote for them, because that's the majority of people. This is the fucked up game that they play. They say, no, we don't have to worry about helping the white males. They're privileged white males, so we won't help them. Instead, we're going to focus on robbing Peter to pay Paul. We want to take the money from the white feminists, because women control 2/3 of the wealth in the United States. They control 85% of consumer spending. They're holding almost 2/3 of college degrees, but they say they're underpaid. When men work on average 50 minutes more per day than them. So what they want to do is they want to take the money from the white man, and they want to give it to the blacks and the Latinos to get the white feminists to vote for them, because that's the majority of people. This is This is the most fucked up thing about these people, and why you need to walk away from the Democratic Party, because this is fundamentally whack as fuck. You're like, all right, so you're trying to take the money from privileged white males like me to give it to the blacks and Latinos to get the white feminists to vote for you. Can you say that again? So you're trying to take the money from the privileged white males like me and give it to the blacks and Latinos to get the white feminists to vote for you because white people are 72% of America. That would mean the white feminists are 36% of America. You know, that's like twice as big as the African-American population and the Latino population. So this is the fucked up game they play. Rob Peter to pay Paul to get the white feminists to vote for you. And this is why you need to walk away from the Democratic Party before they destroy our entire country so that you can be free to criticize whoever you want without fear of retribution, of being canceled, of having your job taken away from you because they can't you're not allowed to do the criticism that people make normally when they talk to each other. You're not allowed to talk about this anymore because they've canceled me. And they will shut the channel down, prevent you from speaking with me and the audience from speaking with each other about this. You can't prove me wrong, show me how bad of an evil person I am because Democrat-run Facebook and Twitter are in control. So you need to walk away from the radical left and go over the party of free speech that is tolerant. And we're tolerant of your religion. We will criticize your religion because let's face it. Do you really think the purpose of Christianity is to say, oh, no, we're equal to the Muslims? No, it's an equal world. We all share equally. Christianity is equal to Islam. Judaism is equal to Islam. No, dude. Like, what planet do you live on, dude? No, the purpose of Christianity is our religion is correct. Yours is the incorrect one, right? Yes, that's exactly the entire purpose of the religion is to say, no, Islam is barbaric. All these other people are primitive. Their religions are primitive, and ours is the superior religion that will take you to heaven. That's the point of the religion. But they want to censor your speech because they say, no, you have to be nice to these people. But in reality, the world revolves around money. Money talks, bullshit walks. And so if you don't have any sort of financial reason to be nice to these people and kiss their ass, why the fuck are you trying to kiss their ass, dude? Why is your nose brown with Muslim shit? Sucking the shit out of the Saudi royal family's ass to get brownie points on social media. You're like, no, I don't give a fuck about the Saudi royal family because I don't have any financial interest in it. If I had financial interest, if I could get money from Muslims, I would be incredibly nice. I would delete all of my videos and I would say, Mohammed's awesome. I would because I can get money out of it. But the reality of the situation is the money people that I want to get money out of, they also, too, are saying Mohammed's a pedophile and that these people are, not all of them, but a good percentage of them act savage as fuck and they kill people and they want to kill Jews and they want to have Sharia law. They're like, no, you can't criticize that. You can't because they took your free speech so that they could sell your post in Europe where hate speech is banned, and in the Muslim world, where they would chop your head off for saying this shit. You're like, okay, I'm not supposed to criticize these people? I'm not playing that game. Hi, homie, don't play that, man. I personally am just going to, I'm going to tell them what I think. I'm going to say every single time I see them, I'm going to say, look, this religion was founded by a pedophile. I'm not going to tolerate savage religion. That's not bullying or cyber harassment or hate speech. That's criticism of a religion, which I have a right to do that. And I have a responsibility to do that. If it was Nazism, which my belief is that Islam is on the scale of Nazism, it's not on the scale of communism, which has killed far more people, but it is on the scale of Nazism on how bad a religion can be. And there's nothing wrong with thinking that. In fact, it makes you a good person to think that because only a bad person would think that we should actually tolerate terrorism. You should just not bully people. Don't ever bully people. Don't take what I'm saying as an excuse to go out and be mean to someone. You should be diplomatic. But the fact is that they are way worse in criticism and hate speech and bigotry towards Christianity, towards Judaism. They might be nice to your face, but they are not nice to your face in private with their Muslim friends. You can find undercover videos going inside of mosques where they teach about wasabiism, and you'll see that a lot of these Muslims who are really nice to your face, who are saying, no, you can't engage in hate speech, are advocating for the genocide of the Jewish people, to which I cannot condone, I cannot support, I must condemn that, while at the same time saying that vast majority of Muslims are wonderful people. They don't believe that. And to them, they're like, no, don't shame me because I'm not like that. The problem is that it causes a large percentage of them to actually engage in terrorist behaviors. And that to me is unacceptable. Does not mean that the entire population of them is doing that. It just means that it causes people to do that. Here in this next article from the New York Post, Charlie Hebdo to reprint cartoons of the pedophile prophet Mohammed ahead of terror trials. French satirical paper Charlie Hebdo will reprint controversial cartoons depicting the pedophile prophet Mohammed, cited by Islamic extremists in the 2015 terror attack on the newsroom. The decision comes ahead of Wednesday's trial in Paris for alleged accomplices in the massacre that left 12 editorial employees dead at the weekend publication in The Office. Because they got thin skin, they can't take it when you publish a image of the pedophile prophet Muhammad, so they have to come and gun down your workplace like they did here. This is a big problem to me. This is like you're talking shit to a gangbanger and then they come do a drive-by at your house and kill your family. That's some fucked up shit. That's some criminal shit. We cannot stand for any of this shit. And we need to support the people here at Charlie Hebdo for the bravery. They've lost friends and colleagues from terrorism because they've criticized the pedophile prophet Muhammad. Because you're not allowed to even show an image of this dude or else they're going to come gun down your workplace. And then they say you're not allowed to do anything about it. You're not allowed to say anything about it. You have to just tolerate it. In this next article from Times of Israel, at a protest against far-right lawmaker, Swedish Muslims chant about killing Jews, because this is the what it's like in hypocrite land, in loony town. What they say, they speak out of both sides of their mouth. They say you cannot speak against us. That's hate speech. But we're going to advocate for genocide against you while we're criticizing you for speaking out against us. This is my problem with this barbaric, savage religion founded by the pedophile prophet Muhammad. The article says Malmo demonstrators turned violent with several cars set ablaze, at least 10 people arrested. Some protesters attending at least one of the rallies staged against plan by Rasmus Paludan, a leader of Denmark's far-right anti-immigration hardline party, to burn copies of Quran in Malmo, chanted Khyber, O Jews, Muhammad army will return. Chants reference a massacre of Jews in the Khyber in the northeastern Arabia in 628 CE. In the rioting, several cars were set ablaze, and at least 10 people were arrested. Authorities in Sweden prevented Paludan from eventually traveling to Malmo. Quote, we take this incident extremely seriously and call on the police and other responsible authorities to prosecute those individuals who, through this act, have committed incitement to hatred against ethnic groups. Council of Swedish Jews committee wrote in a statement, quote, "We view this with disgust, the burning of the Quran and other holy scriptures." Malmo, end quote. The Malmo Muslim Network, an organization prompting interest in the Muslims in the city, sent a letter this week to Anne Katina, a leader of the Jewish community in Malmo, thanking the city for Jews opposing Paladin's plan. They wrote that they condemn the anti-Semitic words and hatred that came chanting from the crowd. And this is my problem. We've already covered this race riot on Real Simple News as it was breaking. They burned some Korans over there in Sweden? And then they did a race riot over there. They had the Muslims all rioting, all the mass migrants. And they say you can't stop these mass migrants. And then once you get enough of them in an area, then they're just going to start rioting and they're going to start killing people if you publish a picture of their false pedophile prophet. You're like, no, you can't criticize them because you have to be fair to them. Right. And so they're totally fair to us, right? No, they're not fair to us in any way, shape, or form. They will say, we want to be nice to this person to their face because they're trying to convert you to Islam. But then they go back into their mosque and they talk about committing genocide against the Jews and about overthrowing our democracy to put Sharia law in. And this is why we have to stand up against illegal immigration, because these people that they're bringing in they're straight up going to cause a massive war once you get enough of them. This is the problem with illegal immigration. You end up with a massive army of people who are going to start wars because you've published a picture of a pedophile. You can't do that because that's sacred to them. You wonder why people don't like your religion, because it's authoritarian, and if you criticize them, they're going to come after you. And this is why they're allied with the Democrats. This is why the Democrats appease them, because they're trying to take the money from the white people, the privileged white males, and give it to the African Americans and the Latinos and the immigrants in order to get the white feminists to vote for them, because the white feminists are 36% of America. It's the largest voting bloc. And so the way that they're going to get them to vote for them is by taking the money from the white man, and then putting the minorities above the white man in the social hierarchy to get the white feminists to vote for him. This is fucked up. Everything about this is fucked up. This is what pops out at the end of the intellectual dark web, is a whole bunch of insanely corrupt shit from California Democrats and New York Democrats. Don't forget. But mainly the California ones are the most batshit crazy. But you do have AOC and this Ilhan Omar woman. The left coast isn't the only lunatic out there. We do have competition for most lunatic Democrats coming from the New Yorkers. So I think it's about time that we start electing candidates who work for the majority of America instead of electing candidates who are working for the benefit of immigrant communities and for taking the money from the white man to give it to the black people and the Latinos to get the white feminists to vote for them, because that's just quite frankly kind of fucked up. What do we got? There's just so much of these.